Today, the community of Lutz Mountain is quiet and calm, made up mostly of farms and forest as far as the eye can see. But it's in this area that back in 1962, woodsman David McPherson found a mysterious white box that fell from the sky. Photos at the time show what he described as a 400-pound refrigerator-like crate attached to a rotting parachute. Inside were cameras pointing out a pair of darkened windows. He spent a week trying to convince authorities of what he'd found. But after getting nowhere with them, he and some friends took matters into their own hands. They cut a road into the forest and hauled out what they would all come to simply know as the thing in the woods.
The shop over.
James Rogers is 74 now and the last person alive who helped carry it out of the forest.
Not knowing what it was, he at first thought it might be a small aircraft that had crashed, but there was no sign of any aircraft parts or anything around.
That's Rogers in this photo with an antenna they found alongside the mystery box. He was 19 at the time. Rogers says hundreds of people came from all over to see the mystery box. The Moncton newspaper published several articles on it, but no one dared to open it, fearing it would either explode or that any film inside would be ruined. Then suddenly, the Canadian military arrived. The McPherson family says they at first tried to steal it, but on their second attempt, the military took another route.
They took it with promises, you'll be there when it's opened. We'll let you know what it was and who owns it. But once it's on the truck, all of a sudden that was all gone, and so was the thing. They took it away.
That was the last they saw of the thing in the woods. The family never got answers as to what it was, who owned it, or where it came from. In the decades to follow, the family filed right to information requests with the Department of Defense, but they were rejected every time. The newspapers of the day called it a transosonde, a type of weather balloon, but these articles don't specify where that explanation came from.
One New Brunswick family is still hoping to solve an old mystery in Lutz Mountain. That's where loggers stumbled upon an unidentified...
But just hours after we broadcast that story, viewers started sending in their ideas. One link brought us this new photo. According to declassified documents, the thing in the woods was a surveillance camera carried by a high-altitude balloon developed in part by the CIA. It was used to covertly take photos of Soviet Russia. According to the National Security Archives, these declassified cameras were a part of Project Denetrix, an operation ordered by President Eisenhower that saw the launch of surveillance balloons from Germany and Turkey to photograph Russia from within their own airspace. How one came to land in Lutz Mountain, no one knows. CBC News reached out to Annette Gillis. She's a curator at the Military Communications and Electronics Museum in Kingston, Ontario. And she told us that she would not be shocked if the wind accidentally took this spy balloon over Canada. And she suggested that this would answer why the family was never given any information about it after it was taken away. For the McPherson family, they always had their suspicions.
There was just too much to it. These camera lenses were huge, the secrecy around it. And I guess looking back, now that we know what it was and we're finding out that it was classified till the 80s, really, the Army probably had no choice. They couldn't tell us what it was.
For James Rogers, who helped pull it out of the woods in '62, it confirms his suspicions that the newspapers at the time were wrong in declaring it a device for monitoring weather.
To start with, I didn't think it was a weather balloon, or they wouldn't have been so secretive about it, would they?
But for the McPherson family, they only have one regret in finally getting answers.
There's a sad side of it because I wish Mom and Dad were here because they would have just enjoyed that.
And while McPherson still has some questions, as far as he's concerned, this closes the book on the 55-year-old mystery of the thing in the woods. Shane Fowler, CBC News, Lutz Mountain.